Mother, Narcy Smith, and I have with me a quilt that she made with her best friend Elsie Brown. Now, I was just speaking about biscuits. Well, when I was little, Elsie Brown and I did not get along over biscuits because Elsie Brown loved biscuits, and so did I. And I felt that when my grandma made biscuits in the morning for breakfast, that the leftover biscuits should continue on to my lunch period, basically. But unfortunately, between breakfast and lunch is just about when Elsie Brown would show up at my grandma's house to stay all day. And the first thing that she wanted to do was have a biscuit. Now, this created a little bit of competition between me and Elsie Brown. And it got to the point where I started hiding my biscuits so that Elsie could not eat them. And then she'd say, "Narcy, didn't you make any extra biscuits today?" And Narcy would say, "Well, yes, Elsie, I did, but I just don't see them anywhere." And I would just be zip. And then, of course, Elsie Brown would be sitting at the table because that's where she sat. She just came in the door and she sat at the table and she never moved for the entire time. And at lunchtime, I would go to my hiding place, get out my biscuits, start making a little sandwich with potted meat or whatever horrible kind of product I used to eat, and smear it on my biscuit, put a little processed cheese on there, and then eat a biscuit in front of Elsie Brown. And I felt not nice about it, but on the other hand, I only got biscuits in the summer, and Elsie Brown got biscuits all year round, right? So I felt like it was sort of okay. But anyhow, Mama and Elsie Brown made this quilt together. Now, Mama's daughter, my grandmother's sister, Aunt Princess Temple, worked down at the sewing factory at Eastern Isles in Richlands. And because she worked there, Mama could get a discount on fabric. Well, she decided that she was going to make herself a quilt, and she was going to back it with a very non-traditional quilting material. She bought a giant piece of ladies' housecoat material, bubblegum pink polar fleece. And that was going to be her quilt back, because see, that's like having the middle of the quilt and the back all in one, right? She's thinking, and for the top, she and Elsie Brown decided that they were going to each go into their cedar chest and pull out every pair of tacky 1970s pants and every dress that they ever owned. And it was all polyester. So the top of this quilt is so itchy, you could probably just die if you slept on it. It just used to be like there all night. And then the bottom of it's like creamy soft, you know? So it's kind of like the yin and yang quilt, I guess. But
sweet and sour.
It is, most definitely. But Mama and Elsie Brown did not do. See, this woman here was telling me that what they did when she quilted in Tennessee was they had a quilting frame. And you stretch the pieces on the frame, and then that makes it nice and flat, and you put all the layers together, right? And you roll it as you do it so you can get in there to the middle. Well, that's just way too much trouble for Mama and Elsie Brown. So they just went and took their giant piece of polar fleece in onto Mama's bed and laid it down, and then took their whole entire polyester quilt top and laid that down. And they said, "We're not going to fool with quilting it, we'll just tie it all together." And they used red and green Christmas color themed ties for the whole thing, and they must have laid 1,000 on there. Because they were really afraid, as they say, it was going to wad up on them if they didn't watch it. So it looks like it has Christmas fur. And despite the fact that this quilt is just out of control, basically, somehow it still charms me to the point where I just basically said to my grandmother, who inherited it, "Mama, can I have that polyester quilt?" And she said, "Oh, honey, you just stick it in your bag and take it." So I decided to bring it on tour with me this year. The pattern is the spider web. It's a traditional pattern. And so I call this the Bubblegum Christmas Spiderweb Quilt. So, made by Mama and Elsie Brown.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's just wild.
Oh
So,
my.
there they go. I mean,
Too funny.
you can just imagine how those polyester pants must have looked on me. I mean, what were people thinking in the 70s? I didn't have any choice in it because I was like 2, you know, but I would have told people polyester is not the future, y'all. Anyway, so you're welcome to come up and feel the sweet and sour yin and yang texture of this quilt at any point later on in the evening. Now,
Jenny, I heard it's going to be in the 30s. We might need to use that.
Oh yeah. Well, we know which side's going to be touching us.
You want to do?
Yes, so we'll do Mama's song here. So, this song here is the song called Jewel Ridge Coal, and I wrote this for Mama Smith because she used to say to me something. She used to say, "Honey, your reward is in heaven, don't you forget it." And she started saying this when I was really little, and I had no idea what she was talking about whatsoever because I had no idea what metaphor was. I was just thinking she was being really literal about it. And so what came to mind were like the hymns we would sing at the Friendly Chapel Church, where we would speak about walls of jasper and streets of gold and mansions bright. And I was getting the sort of Las Vegas, Vegas picture, you know. And in fact, that was very exciting for some time. But then, like in 4th grade, we learned metaphor, you know. And Mama was saying this to me, and I was thinking, well, Mama, what do you mean by my reward being in heaven? And she said, "Honey, in heaven everything is beautiful." She said, "In heaven you will see everyone that you ever loved." And I thought, well, that sounds a lot better than Las Vegas. We shall see. We shall see. But anyhow.
You've been to Las Vegas.
That's right. And I've seen the shampoo there. We'll see what they I guess all hair it's always a good hair day in heaven. That's probably what she But, so, on account of her saying that to me, I wrote this song for her. So this is Jewel Ridge Coal. Well, Daddy had something he could never hold, and he lost it down in that Jewel Ridge Coal. Mama said, "Daddy, can't you let it go?" But he kept on digging that Jewel Ridge Coal. Our rewards in heaven, it sure ain't below. No, there ain't no diamonds in that Jewel Ridge Coal. Well, sister wanted someone to heaven to hold, so she married right into that Jewel Ridge Coal. Mama said, "Baby, can't you let him go?" She wrapped her arms around the Jewel Ridge Coal. Our rewards in heaven, it sure ain't below. No, there ain't no diamonds in that Jewel Ridge Coal. Like to save our soul, there ain't no light in a pitch black hole. No, nothing shining down in that coal. Well, Mama loved something she could never hold, ashes and dust neath that Jewel Ridge Coal. Mama said, "Lordy, I just can't let go." Since we lost Daddy to the Jewel Ridge Coal. Our rewards in heaven, it sure ain't below. No, there ain't
no diamonds in the jewel-rich gold. My rewards in heaven, it sure ain't below. No, there ain't no diamonds in the jewel.